fail on my part, so I'm going to have to go ahead and adjust the sound here. I was just enjoying the Trelf video like everyone else. I just wanted to enjoy it. So, okay, that should be good to go. All right, so now back into the game here. As you can see, FYKU, of course, they are going to be on the Legion side, and Call It Karma on the Hellborn side. So, taking a look right there. And the blind band's taking place. Ophelia Parasite coming out from FYKU. Keeper of the Forest, Monkey King from Call It Karma.
I mean, Monkey King's a hero that's we see time and time get blind banned, especially against, if you remember, I want to say pastry makers. I don't know why I said that,
Pastry
but the cookies, it gets banned frequently against him. And Ophelia, these are just all standard blind bans so far. But yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of locks we have from both of these teams. Obviously, with the top tier teams, it seems like we see lots of junglers and lots of suicides banned. But already we got a Luna as the first lock coming out for FYKU.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of Aluna, Aluna was now there was there was an interesting feature article that's going on with HoN Tour amongst many other. Again, it's awesome to see the daily content that's coming on the site. The hero power rankings, a new one was released today. Actually, it happened. I think the plan is maybe every month it's going to be taking place here for the HoN Tour cycles, and it was the power rankings. Based on a couple of opinions, Aluna was actually the #1 ranked hero in those power rankings. Whether or not you agree is definitely up for debate, and that's encouraged. But Aluna, again, she is a very, very powerful hero, and it's safe to say one of the most played heroes on the competitive scene. So, as you mentioned, the first lock there, Nymphora Bubble is going to be the follow-up from Call It Karma, Tempest Glacius. The final two from FYKU Curdy. I just love
FYKU
Screw saying their tag. I always say their team name whenever I get the chance. So, but now Call It Karma, it's back on them. We'll see who they finish off with here.
Yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary here. I will say I have seen a lot of the more supports being actually going through that lock pool phase. Normally we see lots of junglers, lots of suicides, and I talked about for a long time that supports. They get banned. They used to get banned all the time. Like these, in fact, these specific 3 supports, Aluna, Nymphora, and Glacius. But they're actually getting locked a lot more frequently now, which means you kind of have to be careful about how you set up your lanes or how you want to set up your lanes before getting into that lock pool phase.
Yeah. Of course, so we're actually spending a lot of time here. Is the Jellyfish, the captain for Call It Karma, wanting to decide who he ultimately wants to go with as far as his third and final personal lock. We're down to now about 25 seconds here. So, again, spending a good amount of time, putting some good decision-making into it. Again, nothing wrong with that. The time is there to use. But you do want to be a little bit careful using this much time this early on. Because as we have seen before, then the randoms come out and you have to go in mana mode. But Plague Rider is going to be the 6th overall and final lock, of course, coming out. So that kind of fits that suicide option, of course, as you're just talking about. And now it's on to the banning phase. Pebbles right away going to be the first ban, and moving along right here. So, yeah, we'll see if either one of these teams look to provide a curveball here. Again, these are two teams when now, obviously, a lot of my focus, as really to be expected, has been a lot on the Diamond Division, of course, but I have glanced over, the gold, the silver, even the bronze a little bit. You see some teams in there. It's kind of fun. But, looking at the Gold Division, these two teams, amongst a couple others, were no doubt ones that stood out to me. And, again, it was a case of probably going to be the favorites within this Gold's first cycle. And here they are in the winner's bracket semifinals, so haven't disappointed so far in that sense. But, again, they're matched up. And the winner of this, though, guaranteed Diamond. The loser, they will need to fight one more round to actually get into the Diamond Division. But that has to be the ultimate goal. But still, even a loss, even if you don't happen to make it, you're still getting some decent money. As I actually found out yesterday, I wasn't even fully aware of this. Every single team in gold even gets a certain amount of the prize pool.
Yeah.
Like, you can
I
finish
didn't know
last
that.
place in gold. You can finish 32nd, and you still get, I think it's $100. I mean, it's not like, bank breaking by any means, but it's something still. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's news to me as well. Going on with more of the bans, what's going on here? Pebbles, Silhouette, Magmus, Fade, Legionnaire actually was banned out by Shizor. So, yeah, again, lots of junglers either locked or banned. You look at Keeper is banned, Ophelia is banned,
Yeah.
but Parasite is banned, Tempest is actually locked, and now another jungler that was available but now is not is Legionnaire. So the only other jungler really available is, well, I guess Wild Soul's open. That actually kind of strikes me as a little bit odd because Wild Soul normally is blind banned like every single game, just because of his power in that long lane.
Yeah.
And Tundra actually is the final ban coming out for Call It Karma.
Yeah, so not going to see the Wild Soul ban here, and then that's definitely hero that right off the bat where you're looking at the options, and wouldn't be surprised to see that taken very highly here by either one of these teams. I mean, another couple of options that come to my mind, you got your Draconis, you got your Dark Lady, of course, fantastic carry options. So we'll see what Shizor here, the captain for FYKU Curdy, decides to go with on his side. Again, plenty of options. I mean, especially when you look at the lock pool, it seems like a carry option could be very likely here. But with both Dark Lady and Draconis, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to first pick one of those two. See, I can see actually Wild Soul being a very, very highly regarded pick here, but again, ultimately up to them. You got Torture, could also see perhaps, and Demented Shaman actually has been valued very highly lately, so maybe even him.
Demented Shaman, Zephyr, that combination, we've seen it very popular, especially at DreamHack. It was like the thing of the week, so to speak, at DreamHack. And we see it picked actually last time we cast Complexity in TDM, where it was picked. It actually failed that game. Well, not really necessarily the hero, but they ended up losing that game. Yeah. So first pick is coming out for FYKU. I'm very interested to see what kind of route they go. Like I know they're great players. They're all actually very individually skilled players.
Yeah.
And they actually play quite well as a team, but I haven't seen them for quite some time, so I'm very curious as to what kind of strategies they have in mind.
Yeah.
Right now in the metagame, dual lane mids, very, very strong dual lane mids, seem to be the most popular thing and seem to be the most successful strategy in this metagame.
Yeah, and again, I want to make it clear. I mean, that's not to say that they haven't been active. I mean, it's more so that we, obviously there's been a focus, especially a lot on the Diamond Division. Really haven't been able to focus too much on these Gold Tier Division teams, but I'm sure they have been fairly active. And you know what? They got a Dark Lady pick up first pick here. So as I was kind of saying, looking at the options that were open on the board, seems like Dark Lady could have been a powerful one, and that's sure enough where they go with. Engineer Moraxis is going to be the follow-up here for Call of Karma. So Engineer, speaking of heroes that are just really, have really splashed under the Sing Strong, and I think it once again is safe to say he's really regarded as, a top-tier support up there with a Luna Glacius and Amphora. So him and Moraxis going to be the pickups for Call of Karma. Now it's back for FYKU to see how they're going to finish off here in the regular picking stage.
Engineer is just one of those supports where his spells just do so much more than most supports. The only thing is they're kind of skill shot, like they're not guaranteed damage. You obviously have to aim your keg stun. It's best when you set it up with a stun or something like that before it. But nonetheless, it's still very, very strong. Like his spell scale so well to the late game. Wow, we haven't seen this for a long time. This is the infamous Jerizaiah Devo combo.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. You can put the Protective Charm onto Devourer, and you can just rot away and not have to worry about your life going away. It's pretty fun, but man, I haven't seen this in forever. And they don't really have supports, but as I was talking about before, they already have supports locked into that lock pool, so they'll be fine there.
Yeah, I mean, this no doubt is more definitely old school. I mean, hell, back in the days when I played Dota, this is one of the combinations that you love to ram because it's just considered so cheesy and so powerful. The fact, as you said, you can apply in this case Protective Charm onto Devour. He activates the Rot, and he just runs around, or Decay in this case, and just runs around and doing all that magic damage, not worrying about hurting himself. So no downside. But on top of that, as actually Hammerstorm is going to be the third and final pick here for Call of Karma in the regular picking stage. But Jerizaiah, Dark Hoodie can also be a powerful combination. And actually, we've seen before where Dark Hoodie actually could even go a Null Stone rather than that Rune Cleaver. But of course, when you stack the Protective Charm on top of a Null Stone, it is an insane combination that you have to deal with as far as the opposition goes. So, depending on the situation, we'll see if maybe that comes about. But Tempest is going to be first pick out of the pool here from FYKU Curdy.
Yeah, now that I think about that entire pool, look at there's so much support there. So picking Tempest up right here is probably a very smart decision by them. They have a number of different supports to choose from. Now, the thing I'm thinking of is probably a Luna would be best in my opinion for them. Glacius is always very strong, but the thing about Glacius is you do have a little bit of cast time on your Ice Imprisonment, and if you're trying to use it onto Moraxis, he can nullify that quite easily with his W. Now a Dark Lady, if you have a Dark Lady, a Luna lane bottom, they do go actually Bubbles and Nymphora, so if they get that Nymphora Moraxis combination with that Portal Key up on him quite early, it could be very effective in picking off, well, whoever they want to.
Yeah. Yeah, Bubbles Nymphora is a very strong combination, as you say, Nymphora especially. Now, it seems like, again, Nymphora is just, it's almost, I don't want to say Engineers replace Nymphora as like that third support in the competitive scene, but it seems like we've seen a lot of Engineer lately and not a whole lot of Nymphora lately. But, hell, they have both of them here, so go figure, as I'm talking about that. But yeah, the thing that stands out to me right here on Call of Karma is the Luna's actually the fifth and final pick for FYKU. But Call of Karma's side is, of course, I want to stay away from saying they don't have 100% a hard carry. Sure, Hammerstorm, he definitely can be that potential carry and could do very well for you. But, especially compared to a Dark Lady, maybe that's not the game you're going to be going for is where I'm getting at. You're going to be going more for an early aggression to mid-game victory here, it seems like, for Call of Karma. But we'll see if they're going to be able to pull that off. Obviously, FYKU, they got a very strong team themselves. And, Yeah, I think they actually finished off very nicely there.
I think FYKU have like a quote-unquote more cheesy lineup with Jeremiah. I mean, anytime you see that hero just in your team, it just kind of screams cheese for some reason. It's very annoying and very difficult to deal with if played correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am very curious to see who they really decide to put in that suicide lane. Like, most of the time it is going to be a Jeremiah, probably Jeremiah top. I want to say Devo mid, and then like I was talking about or alluding to earlier, Dark Lady and Luna bottom. But, you know, Call of Karma actually definitely has the means to man up in this long lane. But that being said, actually, early on, I see Boots already purchased on Bubbles, so most likely going to be a Suicide Bubbles. I don't know if that's the route to take against a passive jungler. I feel like you could actually man up on that.
Yeah, well, as you said, though, with the Boots first purchase and already running down there, it does seem like we are very likely going to see a Suicide Bubbles. Again, obviously, though, we are in a pause here to get things kicked off, so game number 1, want to make sure everything is good to go and maybe take the quick restroom break. As I said, they were patiently waiting for us, so not the biggest deal in the world in terms of our pregame that we had here. So, but yeah, I mean, I look at both of these lineups, and my initial reaction is that over here on the Legion side, I mean, sure, maybe it has that cheese factor, but at the same time, it is a powerful lineup, man. So we'll see how, again, Call of Karma deals with that. And I'm not too familiar with the players and which roles they play, like with like your TDM and complexity and whatnot. But I am curious how they're going to use this Hammerstorm as well. Again, that goes back to my point being that, sure, I mean, Hammerstorm can by all means be a very, very powerful carry hero himself if you get the farm on him and you build him that way. And, with their lineup, it seems like that actually will very likely be the case. And, something like a Meraxis Engineer middle and then Amphora Hammerstorm top, we could definitely see here coming out from Call It Karma. But their choice in the end, so we'll see how they ultimately do it. And, of course, depending on how FYKU is laning up, may also play a role here as far as how Call It Karma exactly wants to make it happen. Fuck you, Curdy. We've said it plenty, don't worry. It's just, it really is a fun name. I will say, I remember it was actually one of the DreamHack qualifiers. I forget, maybe with the DreamHack Summer Championships, I want to say, the DreamHack Summer Championships, before, of course, to help qualify for this last DreamHack Winter event. Fuck you, Curdy was in. I remember looking at the name initially, I'm like, oh god, these guys, they must, just be some, whatever. They just have a fun name. And again, they're actually a very solid team here. Is this team, and I've grown on the name. I'm not gonna lie. Initially, I wasn't really a fan of it, but the more you say it, it's just so fun to say. So
yeah,
yeah, looking forward to some big plays, especially from Shizor playing this Devourer.
Yeah,
Devourer's a fun hero to watch.
Devourer is a lot of fun to watch. It will be interesting to see how the Dark Lady and Jeremiah combine together. Obviously, she's still going to probably have to go for that shrunken head to get in and out of that the engineer field, I almost said the energizer ult, but the engineer ult, and you still can't use I mean, that's part of the reason why engineer is so popular. We saw for a long time, or for a good amount of time, an engineer flux combination.
Yeah,
and it was very popular against Jeremiah.
That and Kraken too. Whatever happened to Kraken, man? Just died.
Kraken, I'm a big fan of Kraken still. I think that hero does a lot of damage.
We need the old Ultimate back, let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's what we need. I'm going to go ahead and talk to Doc Kaiser after this game about that. Yeah, not going to happen, guys. Don't worry. So Bubbles is going to the bottom lane. He already sold his boots, actually. So, this we definitely see it from time to time. Get the boots in early on and sell them before the time runs out in terms of only being able to make half back. Run all the way down here and get the water side off. It's going to be close, but yeah, he should definitely easily be able to get it. Of course, between the boots and the shell surf port, Bubbles can very quickly get down here as the Jellyfish did, of course, the captain for Call It Karma. And he gets that water set easily down, and he'll even shell surf away. Be back at base, getting some regen on, and then eventually make it back to the lane. So you see the Wing Couriers kind of trying to spot things out, but get an idea now of how FYKU is exactly going to lane. It looks like we're going to see the Luna Dark Lady bottom. Devour, of course, he's going to be middle. And that leaves the Jeremiah Suicide. With Pinky Curdy here on Tempest, more than likely going to be going to his own jungle. So kind of that pseudo-tri-lane bottom. Something tells me, though, we're going to see a quick adjustment here from Luna to go mid and make it a 2 versus 2 mid. But even so Devour Luna, actually that seems like that has a good amount of potential, especially against this Meraxis and Amphora lane combination, Trev.
Yeah, I think so, too. Meraxis is very, very strong, and some certain heroes seem to come and go, and Meraxis is definitely one of those. I know TDM has been running them at such a high rate recently in their scrims and their matches, and they run it all the time as a dual lane mid, and it works out very well. He's just so tanky. He requires very, very little farm to be extremely effective. I mean, things like just Steam Boots and Portal Key. I mean, you get that, and you're still just as tanky as someone that has a Helm of the Black Legion at the same amount of time.
Yeah. So again, we do see right here it's going to start a 2 versus 1, but maybe a Course here on Luna will sit here at the bottom lane a little bit to harass out this Bubbles and make sure Dark Lady does get that powerful start, but then eventually can head over to the middle lane and make it a 2 versus 2. I mean, what do you think? Is it even worth it? Do you think Luna, is it best for her to actually just sit down here and protect this Dark Lady, or she might as well roam mid?
Well, if she does roam mid, she needs to give Dark Lady a sizable lead at first.
Okay.
And as long as they have this lane control on bottom, Bubbles is not going to get anything. They don't have a deny. It's not like a Plague Rider where you can get a little bit of a deny and get that lane control. So Bubbles is going to have a very, very hard time down here, as expected. But like I said, if it was something like a Plague, then I would say Luna would probably need to roam. But because she can basically keep Bubbles completely out of the lane, get absolutely no experience or CS, it's okay that she's down here for the time being. Now, she does this until about Dark Lady gets, like, say, Ghost Marchers around level 5 or something like that. Then Dark Lady can hold her own 1v1 against Bubbles and actually get very, very easy kills. So around that time, you can maybe expect a Luna to roam mid, or at least she should roam mid around that time. But for now, she can stay bottom.
Yeah, and of course, with Devour, as I've said many times, especially in that 1 versus 1 situation, it really comes down to if he gets that nice hook, especially in that tower range, then he could definitely pick up a kill, and all of a sudden the lane can be working out for him. So, and it could definitely fare here as well. If he happens to get that nice hook on an Nephora, catches her out of position, brings her into tower range, starts spamming that rot, or not spamming the rot, but activating the rot on top of that, then it could cause some issues for Nephora. So, not the worst thing in the world that Devour is going to 1 versus 2. Sure, he's not going to really get really not much creep farm, but his experience actually should be still pretty solid, and could even still get a fairly early on level 6. So yeah, this actually makes sense what FYKU is not doing here in the case of not sending a Luna mid right away. How about the top lane though? VN Sensation playing this Jeremiah. Well, he's getting minimal. I guess it's expected. A Suicide Jeremiah against a Engineer Hammerstorm combination. On this Hammerstorm, he is focusing on the farm, of course. And off to a very, very good start. I mean, 13-7 compared to that 4-0 Jeremiah. So, yeah, pretty effective start here for the Hellborn side as far as the top lane goes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, Jeremiah, he's actually at least getting the levels, but he might be in a sticky situation here. The stun comes out. He has his spells off cooldown, but there's the combination with Engineer. Can he get his heal off? Can he get his protective charm off? Yes, but is it going to be enough? The boots are up on Hammerstorm. They're pounding in those auto attacks. He uses that Galvanize as well to get that extra movement speed. A heal is up, but he doesn't have mana, and he gets stunned again. He will fall. First Blood, Bloodlust coming out for Alma.
See, the protective charm was useless right there. And actually, it made no sense to use it right there because they just used their stun. So if anything, he should have saved it until eventually their stuns were just about to come off cooldown, and then he would have been fine right there. But, he used it right away, and it's like, well, that doesn't really do anything for you. And if anything, he could have, a nice hook in the middle lane in the meantime. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Sure, there's a great hook on Nephora, and Nephora will fall right there. So that's exactly what Devour wanted to do, and he accomplishes it. So sure, the top lane may not be the best situation for Jeremiah, but Devour, 1 versus 2, he lands the great hook on Nephora right there, and he gets his first kill of the game. So very good start. And in fact, he actually also picked up Cadaver Armor, and he now even has a charge on top of that. So yeah, good news there for FYKU despite Jeremiah going down at the top lane.
I mean, I've said this before, Devour in the mid lane is perfect because you're tanky, strength hero, you're melee, so you're going to be getting more experience in the mid lane if it is a dual lane. And you still have the potential to kill supports right then and there. Yeah. And we did a good job about not only just hooking the support, the Nephora, but also hooking and then getting in front of her. So the tower just was a pummeling auto attacks on top of her. So really good job by Shizor.
See at the bottom lane, again, look at this. The Jellyfish here on Bubbles. He is still level 1. I doubt he even has a creep kill. Yeah, 0 creep kill, still level 1. Hasn't even got any experience. I think he's got like 1 creep kill in experience. So, yeah, he's having a horrid start, but as expected, again, with Luna just sitting down here, babysitting Pewee here on Dark Lady, it is working on. There's the early Ghost Marches. So here he has that, and this is what you talked about. Maybe this is where Luna should start to look to roam around and either assist this middle lane or even set up ganks here in the middle lane. We'll see if Corazon Luna decides to do that here in the near future. But Bubbles is going to be 100% useless for his team right now. I mean, there's not going to be any early ganks from it. He's going to need to find experience somewhere. I guess, do you have an option, though, if you're Bubbles? Do you still just need to sit down here and hope for the best?
If you're Bubbles, yeah, you're just trying to sit here and hope for the best. what I've seen other players do, actually Devour taking a lot of damage in mid with the roam coming out from Engineer. He gets the hook actually into Miraxis. Oh, but the tower actually changes its target as actually Miraxis was a little bit out of range, so Engineer got the last tail into that auto attack. But good job from 360. No, actually that was Carlsberg getting the roam out on the mid. But yeah, I've seen actually Bubbles in the suicide lane, if they can't get absolutely anything, I've seen them even just come and use a level 1 shell surf in the mid just to get a little bit of extra damage instead of a kill. But, you know, Engineer is already getting work done there, so.
Yeah, that was very effective, of course. That was close to a turnaround on Miraxis. Great idea there from Shizzer, doing the hook at the last second, knowing that he was going to die, maybe get a turnaround kill, but it just wasn't enough to be successful. So now with that on top, in fact, Quake's not going to be used right there, but the Seal Stone will hit as well, but not even remotely enough damage right there. Bottom lane, though, Dark Base activated, the Taint Soul coming out, the stun from Eluda, and Bubbles just melts away. Cores will pick up the kill. But that's the power, especially of the two right there. I mean, Bubbles only being level 2. He has 0 items, basically, rather than really starting items. And he just melted away. So a huge kill coming out. Cores, again, got credit for it, but still, at least the assist for Dark Lady. And she's a phenomenal start. I mean, 405 gold per minute. Granted, that's actually up there. Hammerstorm's holding his own against Dark Lady. He, too, is actually around 400 GPM. May actually go higher. The Bruise Strength activated the heal. No, it is going to go at the last second. The Protecting Charm, but again, it's just too late. It didn't matter at that point. The auto attacks go through, and down goes Jeremiah once again. So Alme has actually surpassed Dark Lady in GPM here.
Yeah, and, dude, Hammerstorm can pump out some damage, too. Actually, Devour's in a lot of trouble as well right now. He does actually get the ultimate off. I don't think he's going to get a counter kill, but he's going to up his strength just a little bit, and he'll be fine for now.
Yeah, that was close right there. But again, as you said we said in the past, you know, we've seen situations. Slicks is definitely the player that comes to mind when you think carry Hammerstorm, but it can be effective. The brute strength is very powerful, and it allows him to hit. He's one of the hardest hitters in the game as a result of that. So it looks like he might be saving up for an early portal key here. I mean, how would you like to see a carry Hammerstorm built? He's got the steam boots. Do you think the portal key is the next best option?
On which hero? On Hammerstorm? See, he probably will get a portal key. Like, undoubtedly he will get a portal key. I see almost every player do that. I think the best route to build a carry Hammerstorm, though, is just, you don't even need a portal key. I would just get things like beefy items like Shrunken Head into Elder Parasite and just do massive damage onto somebody, or the tower decide to push. Actually, Devour getting initiated yet again. The stun's coming out. There's a double stun, actually, onto him, as well as the turret does so much damage, and he just can't do anything in this mid lane, even though they actually are still surpassing quite a lot in the experience with, well, due to Tempest, basically. But that's a lot of damage and a great combo coming out onto Shizor.
Yeah, and something you got to keep in mind, speaking of tanky heroes, Miraxis being a tanky hero himself, but he's also good against tanky heroes with his Miraxis ability. Sure, you know, the damage and soul that it comes from is nice, but the plus, the percentage of, so in this case, the 5% of the target's max health in magic damage is also done. So, of course, these beefy heroes like Devour will have the higher max health. It could definitely hurt them even more. Jerry's on the meantime at the top lane, though. Heal Bomb's going to come out. There's the charm, but again, it just doesn't matter. The auto attacks are going to go through, and the brute strength Hammerstorm showing off that strength, baby. Gets the kill. 2,400 gold saved up right now for Alme here on this Hammerstorm. And yeah, like you were saying, I don't know. He might not go he's right next to the shop, so he could definitely just purchase one right here. But he still has yet to do that. And it also gets to a question now, if you're FYKU Curdy here for VN Sensation playing the Jeremiah, do you stop going to the top lane? Because now it's just like, it's kind of chainballed here, or snowballed here, where you've died now 3 times in a row, only 8.5, 9 minutes into the game. And it looks like he is going to head towards the jungle even, so.
Yep. Yeah, no, Tempest, he's having a fantastic jungle. He's almost 300 gold per minute. He has his Ring of Sorcery. Strider's going to have a portal key, I want to say around the 14-minute mark. And that's just the power of having a jungler versus no jungler. Yeah. It is, but the thing is, it's not necessarily a passive game. I mean, with 7 kills in 9 minutes, that's not too bad. But yeah, it's really going to come down to comparing Dark Lady versus Hammerstorm. Who can really dish out more damage? Who can really carry to the late game? And I got to say, with Jeremiah in the mix of things, with just sitting back in the late game with heals and your ultimate, I don't know. We'll have to see. It's been a long time since I've seen Jeremiah.
Now, Engineer is a very powerful hero against Jeremiah at the same time. With the energy feel, you know, with the purge effect, that can be very powerful, especially against the Soul's Blessing if they panic and they start running around in and out of it after the Soul's Blessing is activated. So of course, purging it right off. So that's the good news here for the Hellborn team. But you're
Right.
right. I mean, Jeremiah at the same time, there's a reason why, he's considered, again, kind of that cheesy hero, annoying hero to play against, because he will sit in the background. Despite him being underleveled and farmed here, he will eventually start recovering. At least that's the idea here for FYKU. And he'll be that heal bot, basically, for Darklady, sitting in the background. And Darklady is getting a very good farm herself. I mean, Hammerstorm, sure, he's been very impressive for the Hellborn team, but Darklady is still neck and neck with the Hammerstorm, despite Hammerstorm having 3 0-0 in hero kills, where Darklady's just sitting on the 1 assist. So, I mean, that goes to show you, especially when it comes to creep farm, that Darklady is just a step ahead even. So, she's got the sustainer right now. I am very curious. Are we just going to see the typical Rune Cleaver build here on Darklady? Or is it possible that we could see a Nullstone, knowing that she has a Jeremiah teammate? I mean, is that a possibility, or do you think Rune Cleaver?
I still just think Rune Cleaver. I think just securing that late game and just getting your farm massively up, and then just dodging team fights. Like, dodge team fights, just farm up on her. She will be able to, like, towards the end, 1v5 heroes with Jeremiah and the rest of her team sitting behind her. And on top of that, the Tempest ultimate, it's going to be very effective. If Tempest gets a Shrunken Head, too, it's going to be very, very strong. We see a Nymph port actually coming on bottom. Darklady might be in a lot of trouble.
Yes, she is. She knows something's up, though. She does have her Charging Strike. She's going to use it right there, away from the Shell Surf. Going to dodge the axe, and she will be fine. So, I don't know if this Ward of Sight necessarily spotted. I mean, it might have spotted barely. If anything, she might have heard something. But yeah, she gets away before the Hellborn team collapses, as you can see on the mini-map. And that's huge for FYKU, because the death right there could have really been some snowballing momentum for C1K. But by the way, Hammerstorm, he does go what you were kind of hoping for. He didn't go the Portal Key. He actually goes to Sanitarius here with his first item pickup. And you mentioned kind of more of a beefy, good damage-dealing item. It fits that role. I mean, this is one of the few heroes that you would see this item on, in my opinion, but yeah, it definitely works. So, solid choice there for Alme.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. We'll have to see how it does work. Actually, the hook coming out, very nice hook onto the Jellyfish. In the meantime, they also get the tower in mid. It doesn't even look like they were focusing on it, but neither were the Hellborn team. They were kind of too caught up in trying to save their buddy, the Jellyfish. And fantastic hook yet again by Shizor, and that furthers their lead in gold. They were pretty much the same in experience, but 1,300 gold lead now for them.
Yeah, no, I will say, this is kind of a downside of going a build like this on Hammerstone. Again, you don't have that Portal Key to be more aggressive earlier on. But if the goal is that you want to try to compete in farm and you want to be the harder carry than Darklady, then sure, I mean, this is fine. But is that even realistic, especially at the pace of this game right now? I don't know if it is. I mean, we've gone back to he is a very hard hitter. But at the same time, it seems like they, especially with Moraxis also having a Portal Key, they have an Amphora porting him around. Maybe the more aggressive playstyle with the Portal Key Hammerstorm could have been the more efficient choice. Middle lane, though, in the meantime, Devour's in a lot of trouble. He does have a regen rune. It's not going to matter, though. The Volatile Pod explodes, and Kalberg's there on Engineer, actually, will get credit for the kill. So Devour overstaying his welcome just a little bit too long right there. And he eventually falls. But Darklady is going to be going the Rune Cleaver route, and she is very, very close, actually, to finishing it. Just needs about another 200 gold for her second broadsword, and then that will be on the way. So, but yeah, that's what I was going back to. It's going to be interesting to see, again, how this works out for Alme here, playing this Hammerstorm the way he's building it.
Yeah, I think as long as he gets a Shrunken Head now, too. I mean, Shrunken Head's going to be a must, especially against the silence from Darklady and all the stuns and what have you. And as I mentioned, too, right on par is that Tempest having that Portal Key actually even earlier than I thought, 13-minute mark. So level 10 also, top in the game tied with Hammerstorm. But yeah, I am interested to see how this Insanitarius works out for him. He's going to dish out a lot of damage.
How is he building, by the way? He also has level 2 Mighty Swing on top of the level 1 Galvanize, by the way. So yeah, that's also another. Now, again, you know what? There was actually a little bit of time. I want to say it was B-Kid when you were actually still playing with the team. I want to say where B-Kid actually built Hammerstorm a couple of times with this style of build. He actually leveled up Mighty Swing with the goal of it, being that so he could compete and farm with a hero like Darklady. So I mean, does that make sense to you?
I suppose. I just feel like early on you're not. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's okay. I used to hate it. I used to think the ability was terrible. You never really wanted to carry on Hammerstorm, and then the splash wasn't honestly that great. But it's starting to grow on me now. Yeah. So I have mixed emotions.
Fair enough. Of course, at one level, right now it's only doing, what, 30%? It's not the greatest, especially with the minimal damage that he's putting out right now. But eventually it'll be 40% or 60% splash, and actually at the bottom lane, Jeremiah is going to get caught out right here, and he will fall. Then for a TP and with more access, that being the top lane, of course. Bottom lane, though, speaking of that, Darklady will actually take out Bubbles, being played by the Jellyfish there by herself. So really kind of a one-for-one exchange right there, and I think actually the Legion team might have came out on top. but this top tower is going to be pushed in here by Call of Karma, and actually the Tempest ultimate port's coming in. There's a vulnerability. Is it going to be in time? Though is the question. Dark going to return. There's a charging strike on top of the Dark Blade. Gets going at 4. Engineer to join the party though. Energy field going to be activated in the background. Moraxis, he takes the Taint Soul. He does not have that Matrix. He's falling back. The rest of the team coming in. Nice hook from Devour right there. Pulls back in Kalbergs, and he will fall playing the Engineer. Moraxis in the meantime, Portal King to safety. He is good for now. In fact, he's going to Homecoming Stone right there, and I believe he should be fine actually. So yes, he'll get away. The Tempest ultimate seems like it was going to be a little bit too early, but actually it still worked out pretty well there for Call of Karma. No, FYKU, sorry.
Yeah, it was just really close. Thank God Pew got there in time to get those silencing Dark Blades off on everybody. Had he not done that just a split second later, or had he done that a split second later, it could have been really, really bad and an unfortunate wasted Tempest ultimate. But it was well placed. It was good coordination between especially him and Dark Lady, and made a huge turnaround. I mean, the experience lead is now really starting to grow on them as Dark Lady is looking to triple stack some Ancients. The hook coming out actually onto the Jellyfish yet again. He is not having a good game, but Shizor is on this Devourer. Jellyfish is 0-4-0 on Bubbles, not able to make an impact early on.
Yeah, I just saw that comment. I didn't even think of it for that. You think of it for the Protective Charm or Decay, but right there, it's he pulls him in, then just gets heal bombed right away. And so it's the hook damage on top of the heal bomb damage, as we saw right there. So yeah, Bubbles, he's kind of being the victim here this game. He just can't get anything going. He only has 8 creep kills still. 0-4-0 as you said, and not even level 6. So not good news there for the Hellborn team. Hungry Spirit picked up here on Dark Lady. She's actually using it to clean up, I believe those were triple stack Ancients. And so she might even have her Abyssal Skull finished as she's going to fall back to base here. So, of course, as you always expect, the Rune Cleaver already making big work, 460 gold per minute. Hammerstorm still farming very nicely, 420 gold per minute. So definitely a saving grace there for Call of Karma. But again, it keeps going back to, is that ultimately going to be enough? Not sure. And Nymphora's porting in right here with more access, so a 5-man push going to happen here at the bottom lane. Aluna's like, yeah, I better get the hell on out of here, as she quickly TPs back to base. So this tower very likely going to fall, though, in favor of the Hellborn team. It looks like, by the way, though, Shrunken Head is being worked on here by Almay playing the Hammerstorm. So, again, that's the good news, but they're going to need to start making some more things happen here in the near future.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it felt like they had a really great start, but Dark Lady with this much farm and having the jungler with Tempest do so well, Tempest just makes the golden experience swing that much larger. You don't really think about it, but it really does. Like I talk about all the time, it's basically like a support hero that's getting massive free farm in the jungle. So compare her to someone like say this Nymphora. That's basically what you're doing, is substituting Nymphora for someone like Tempest.
Yep.
And that's why junglers are so popular.
5 charges already on this Cadaver armor here for Devour. Like I said, he happened to level it up before he got this first kill. Now being involved at least in 5 kills, so that's plus 5 strength right there. And again, that number will just constantly add up as this game progresses on. So here he has 1,500 life, only sitting on Steam Boots and a power supply, really, as far as stat item goes. Not too shabby. He's roaming around a little bit, but they do have a Ward of Sight, spotting several heroes here in the jungle, that being Call of Karma heroes, and of course, Devour will stay safe for now. In the meantime, Jerizaya and Luna are up here at the top side. Tempest is joining them. He has his own Mighty Blade. Yeah, Tempest going the Strider's route, actually. That is unique there. Not often you see that, but our Pinky Curdy here has Portal Key, the Mighty Blade, so the important items, of course, on top of that are being established here. And yeah, for FYKU, it really is, you know, they could be pretty comfortable not needing to force too many things where, I mean, sure, Call of Karma, again, Hammerstorm, he is farming very well himself, but it just seems like there needs to be that point where you need to start making something happen. Maybe that's going to be when he gets that Shrunken Head, which he actually is very, very close now to purchasing. I believe he has the Warhammer. He just needs the 1,300 gold for the pattern, so perhaps that's where we'll see them start grouping up and making some plays happen. But
I mean, that's going to be huge. If you're able to get in there, use your Shrunken Head before Energy Field comes out from I always say it, Engineer. I love that item so much. Like, the item is so awesome. I love it so much. I gotta say it. No, but if he gets it off before that ult comes out, there's nothing that can stop it. And we've seen so many times when you have a Tempest that has free reign with that ultimate, it just not only is it so easy to get that ultimate off, but it makes the enemy team play differently because you're constantly fearing that you're gonna have to constantly spread. And it's like, how much do you spread before your teammate dies instantly? So it makes it very difficult to work around.
Well, there's the Shrunken Head delivered to Hammerstorm. So, again, that's a very big item pickup for them. He's level 12 on top of that, so he'll have level 2 burst strength. That with the Insanitary activating. He's going to hit hard. But here we go. They're jumping on Devour right there. The Hammerstorm's on, but the Tempest ultimate pulling them with the Protector Charm on top of him. So he's protected. Darkly now jumps in, but the Brute Strength from Hammerstorm. Soul's Blessing, however, going to be activated. The energy field is there, but more access will fall. So far, 2-for-0 exchange. Hammerstorm running this whole time. He's not doing any damage output with his items. He needs to activate that Insanitary right now if he wants to help him survive. There we go. But it's just not going to matter. He's hitting pretty hard, but he was just constantly on the run. So the Legion team, a great counter. Obviously, Tempest, even without the Shrunken Head, it doesn't matter because of the Protective Charm. That's what won the fight right there.
I mean, the Protective Charm is fantastic. It basically does the same exact thing against this lineup that Shrunken Head does, except if you have the energy field down. But in that case, the energy field was just a little bit away from Tempest, and obviously didn't blink in, so it didn't matter didn't blink through it, so it didn't matter either way. And that was just the team fight potential. You see there, Tempest, Jeremiah, Dark Lady in the meantime pounding in all that damage. So, ooh, that was scary. That was very, very scary if you're Call of Karma.
It's unfortunate for Call of Karma because, again, they had the initiation. They had, now granted it was on Shiz or playing the Devour, and that's probably the worst target choice you want to go for as far as jumping in, and we kind of saw right there why. But Hammerstorm was getting there just a little bit too late. He doesn't have that portal key. Not that that's a bad thing. You know, it sounds like you do agree with his build so far over a portal key, but he doesn't have that jumping potential as a result of that, you know, so he had to kind of walk on up with the Galvanize, and by the time he got there, the counter was ready to go. The Tempest Ultimate jumped in, and he really did very minimal to no damage as a result of him just getting there kind of late and then having to worry about surviving more so than doing damage output. So they simply put, my point being, they need him to be able to just sit there right-clicking this Legion team to have any chance, because if that's not happening, then you're not going to win these fights. So he's just going to continue to farm some more, as of course he should, as the rest of the team is. And, you know, Bubbles, the Jellyfish, he's had a horrid start. He still isn't looking that great, but he does have about 1,500 gold saved up. So at the very least, he may have a portal key somehow soon here. Only that on top of basically Striders. So, but hey, get that portal key. Be useful for the team at least, with initiation factor, I guess.
Yeah, the thing that you run into, the problem that you run into with the Hellborn lineup is you basically, and this is the problem with Jeremiah, you're going to have to go on Jeremiah. You have to kill him first, because no matter how much damage Hammerstorm gets, and even if Hammerstorm gets a PK, he's still going to have to go after Jeremiah, because if he's going in there, wants to get that Dark Lady kill, but if the ultimate comes out from Jeremiah, then you're basically useless. Everything, all the farm that you have, all that investment and time you use in trying to get all this farm onto Hammerstorm is just useless because of that Jeremiah ultimate. Not to mention just the massive heal that he provides as well. So if Jeremiah is smart and just sits really, really far in the back, it's almost impossible for Call of Karma to initiate these team fights.
Yeah. I mean, we do see a Hungry Spirit actually purchased by Hammerstorm, so, you know, again, that could, will very likely be the Elder Parasite there. Again, that's a rare item we see, but this is just one of the heroes in this role, at least, that you would maybe expect to see it on, if it comes down to it. But, of course, the downside of that Elder Parasite, he will be taking more damage in return, and that goes back to what I was just talking about. The biggest thing about last fight was that he was just more so on the run than he was about doing damage, and so it's kind of that big trade-off right there. Will that actually pay off in the end? We'll see, but at the same time, you know, they are kind of desperate here. They don't have many plays working out for them. The Dark Lady is just really getting way out of hand. 582 gold per minute. She's level 16. She has a Frostburn finish, and I think she just purchased something else. Another Mighty Blade being delivered to Pui here on Dark Lady. So, yeah, perhaps that Shrunken Head going to be worked on now. And that with the Tempest finishing his own Shrunken Head. And then, of course, you have on top of all that the Jeremiah, as you just referred to, with his own Protective Charm and even the Soul's Blessing. It really is just becoming too much for Call of Karma to handle, and they're going to need kind of all-in play here in the near future, it seems like, if they want to have any chance.
And I really love Almo's items, too. Like, I love his item build. I was just talking about this, the Shrunken Head into Elder Parasite, and Sanitarius is fine, too. And like I said, Blink actually would be very good this game because you do need to jump on the Jeremiah, but even then, Tempest is also fantastic against all the items that Hammerstorm's building. You can't run. If you run in there, balls to the wall, you're doing, you know, massive, massive damage. If you just get that Shrunken Head on Tempest and Holt, there's no way you can counter that. In fact, it's even worse if you have a Shrunken Head up on Hammerstorm because you can't push him out if you do have a Tablet of Command.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, it's getting very difficult to find strategy against this Legion team.
Oh, God, Dark Lady So powerful how crazy she gets them just farming these creeps in the jungle. I mean, that there was like a couple of triple stacks and just a charging strikes with the Dark Blade just cut through all of them right there. And they just send her farm just, again, boosted even more. So 585 gold per minute right now for PUA playing this Dark Lady. Absolutely ludicrous, and again at this rate, he's going to be tough right here, but the counter is ready to go. Darkly not going to fall. There's that Tempest Ultimate coming in. Look at the counter coming out here from FYKU. Even the Soul's Blessing going to be used on top of it all, and Call It Karma just melted away. Pue, when it's all said and done, he's the one that picks up the hat trick actually, and they are going to easily push to this bottom tower after also getting the top tower from the creep wave. I think Call It Karma may have just ran out of gas right there. Yeah,
I mean, to add insult to injury, the top tower goes down with nothing, like no heroes there or anything. They could probably look to maybe get a Kongor kill right now. Oh, I love that pickup, by the way, for Jeremiah, the portal key. I talk about all the time. Basically, you want to sit so far back. Well, now you can sit even further back with having that blink initiation to help someone out with the heal, the protective charm, the ulti, what have you. They have the bound die up, of course, onto Aluna. There is a ward right here. It wasn't spotted because it's kind of above the ground. By Carlsberg here, right around Kongor, but maybe they're just going to look to group up, push top, get that last outer tower, and then maybe look to push into the base, but they're at a sizable lead right now.
Oh, yeah, it's enormous here. I don't even think the Golden Experience really shows how far their head is, as ridiculous as that sounds, but, I mean, they're up 16.6 gold, 16.4 experience, but it's just with the situation of the game right now. The team makeup that FYK, that FYKU Gertie has over here, on the Legion side, it's just ridiculous how well it's just coming together. And as you said, the portal key pickup on Jared's side just does it in even more. The fact that he can now even sit further back behind enemy lines really just sticks it to Call It Karma here. So Call It Karma, they are going to try one last fight perhaps, maybe make something happen, maybe get that lucky pick off and kind of momentum from there. But actually, Hammerstorm's the one that needs to be careful. He's going to be jumped here in a second. In fact, there we go. Darkness jumps in with the protective charm, and Drunken not even necessary. Chainsaw going to come out. The power thug gets bubbles killed. Look at Hammerstorm. He finally activates Brute Strength, but he's dead seconds after. Miraxis will jump in, but Dark Lady is just doing way too much damage. The Bochican comes out. There's some GG well played, and it will be official here for game number 1. FYKU Gertie takes out Call It Karma here in the first game. So, of course, best of the 3 series, as we always say. So, it's still a series ahead of us. But that game, FYKU, just the lineup, it all came together. It was impressive seeing the Hammerstorm farm with how he did it. And it seemed like Call It Karma was actually off to a very good start, to be honest. But FYKU, again, the lineup just came together, and we saw the potential of it there.
Well, Call It Karma had the more aggressive lineup on paper, at least early on, and they played it well. But, you know, giving them those heroes, I feel like, with Jeremiah, Dark Lady, and Tempest, there was only one jungler there in that lock pool, and FYKU smartly picked it up. There's lots of supports. They knew they didn't need to pick up a support because there was plenty in the pool, and finishing off with that Tempest there, it just was a perfect lineup. There was nothing. I mean, they played well. Call It Karma played well, but I think that was just draft versus draft. They got completely out-drafted. It just didn't work out at all. But maybe in Game 2 they were able to do something because they did play well.
Yeah, they did. And again, both of these teams very deserving to even not only be here in the winners bracket semifinals for the gold division, but as I was saying, you look through all these gold teams, these two teams to me specifically really stood out as teams that we could very likely see in the Diamond Division next cycle. The winner of this series will be guaranteed that. The loser, they'll still have a chance, but they will just be knocked down to the loser's bracket and have to fight even one more game. But with that said, guys, that is it for our first game here. So going to take a short break as always, but game number 2, Call It Karma taking on FYKU. Going to be coming up next. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.